Alrighty, we have somehow magically teleported ourselves to Ul'dah for the next leg of the Hero in the Making quest for the storyline. Let's get it going. Let's get it started. Cutscene fade to black. See a bunch of people walking, talking, approaching the same area that you are.
Behold! 'Tis the Sultana Nanamo herself!
And Roban as well!
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore!
That's Roban talking. I've described him before. He's a really tall, muscular man, dark-skinned, has the hair pulled back into a ponytail kind of thing. The left arm has all the armor on it, as if like it's his blocking arm. Yeah, described him before, and he's
Hurrah! Rauban! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul'dah dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold. Where by the grace and glory of Ul'dah have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
Just a second. Don't need the webcam right now. The crowd cheers.
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
So yeah, their insignia is a... I didn't describe the Twin Adders / Gridanian's insignia, but it looked like the Caduceus, the medical kind of insignia, with it's two snakes kind of wrapping around each other and facing opposite directions, and that was Gridania, symbolizing Elazin and Hyur, human and elven, kind of working together. This one is a scale. One of those old-fashioned scales that kind of you hang things from either side to have them balance. And then, like he said, there's a jewel on one side signifying prosperity. The jewel's blue. And on the other side is just a flame, fire, the flame of might. And the scale is golden.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Once again, Alphino and his sister have joined you.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead.
The Ul'dah salute that they are doing right now is left arm behind the back, like resting, like if your hand is right in the middle of your back. So there's a bit, your elbows crooking out in a V, and then right arm at basically 90 parallel to the floor, and then you have your right hand kind of almost in a fist, and basically over your sternum. But it's not touching your chest, so it's like sticking out a bit. That's their salute.
Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, The Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act.
Standing next to him is a Lalafell, female, has kind of a rosy coloring to her ears, a rosy pink coloring to her ears. She is dressed very ornately, has a, I guess I'll call it a crown, but it is, I believe, a crown in some sorts, but it looks kind of like a metal headband that goes, if you picture like where a widow's peak is for most people, or like where the hair meets the forehead line, it's maybe like a couple inches behind that is where it starts, and it's maybe a couple inches thick. It looks kind of like a headband, but it's gold. It has some purplish pinkish jewels in it. One big purple jewel maybe of some sort in the very front top of it. She's looking down as if in thought or prayer. Has kind of darkish blonde hair, so it's kind of borderline orange hair. And it's pulled back into multiple ponytails kind of from the top middle of her head. Not like the top, but kind of like the back top. And the sides. So if you put like your hands on either side of your head in the very top and you move them down to the back like a couple inches, that's where the ponytails come out of. Like 6 of them total, so 3 on each side. She's wearing a mostly white in the front gown, dress kind of thing with pink puffy sleeves, and then at the elbow they become white down to the open hands. Hands don't have anything on them. She's got a necklace with like some very large pink kind of pearl shaped or like tear shaped pearls. They do look like the consistency of a pearl, but they're kind of pinkish, almost rose colored. And then there's 3 of those kind of in a line across her chest, and then below the center one is another smaller kind of also tear shaped pink pearl or whatever. And then around that bottom one is kind of like a heart-shaped gold thing with some green stones set in the sides of it.
Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Ul'dah stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond.
He has now raised his arm in the air as he speaks.
Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you. Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Ul'dah, but to restore her to prosperity.
The richly dressed Lalafell has now looked up out at the crowd, and her eyes are just a brilliant green.
As the realm prospers, so shall Ul'dah. As Ul'dah prospers, so shall her people.
Ya for Ul'dah!
Together we are one.
Raban turns to her, kneels.
Your grace.
Raban?
Her name is Nanamo Ul'namo. She's adorable, if you didn't know.
People of Ul'dah, I, Nanamo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you.
He now has picked her up. He has his right arm basically at chin level. His hand is at chin level, and his arm is crooked. So he's basically formed an L, and she is sitting on the like elbowish crook shape. So her head is slightly above his at this point.
Much has been made of the wealth of Ul'dah. Yet those who measured that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Ul'dah, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the inferno, for we are by fire reborn!
And then fade to black.
Forsooth!
The time is now!
Fancy meeting you again.
Alphina was talking to you again as his sister just looks in a different direction and has her eyes closed. The Uldahs have a long history of conflict with the Ul'dah, the beast tribe that worships the primal Ifrit. Judging by your look of distaste, I take it you have encountered them. The Uldahs do not shy from confrontation. If aught threatens their precious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. So have they dealt with Ifrit thus far, smothering his flames each time he is stoked to life. Yet he is but one of several problems. Though they have been quiet these past 5 years, the Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees continue to arrive in droves, and Ul'dah has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, not even the Sultanate's coffers are bottomless, and even assuming they had the coin, resources will ever be finite. Which brings me back to the subject of Ifrit. It has been observed that the Ul'dah are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Uldahs send their forces to smite the primal, and though they invariably succeed, each victory is bought with blood. It is a war of attrition which they cannot well sustain. Small wonder, then, that the immortal flames are eager to recruit more members. At such a desperate hour, an adventurer of your expertise would be a most welcome addition to their ranks. His sister turns to walk away. He turns to follow. I have yet to reach a part in any of the storylines where Alice actually has a large part to play. I'm going to Limsa. And since I have my free point registered in Limsa, boom shakalaka, a few seconds later I'm there. Oh, wait. I'm close enough. I'm going to port over to Camp Drybone, spend some gil to do so, but less gil than I would otherwise porting from somewhere else. Except maybe the lower part of the Black Shroud. But anyway, I still don't have a Chocobo, sadly, so I have to run. But I want to pick up, I want to do that little quest that allows me to get that dungeon on my list, and then I'll do that dungeon when I get back from soccer. Boop. Hello again. Doop 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 doop. Pussycat, I love you. So I have teleported over to Camp Drybone. I've ran south, mostly just south from there. And it's all still regular Thanalin, kind of a plains, wasteland kind of thing. Fafajoni is a Lalafell who looks kind of scared to be standing in front of this large, it looks like a castle structure that's built underground. There's a large drop gate that is closed currently. If it is the halls of Halatali you seek, you need seek no further. Permit me to tell you something of this place. The name comes from an ancient tongue, Halatali meaning the land of many shadows. It was here that our distant ancestors first settled and... Bah, you've not come all this way for a lesson in history. Shh. Listen. Do you not hear the howls and growls? Do you not feel how they shake the very earth beneath you? Those sounds are the work of no wind, my friend, nor that rumbling, the doing of any shadows. Those are the calls of Halatali, for now the beasts once kept for the Colosseum lurk here. And these are no gentle beasts broken by the hand of man. No, there are those within that even the might of the immortal flames cannot tame. From the look of you, you must be Mercy. I received word from Nedrick that you might be along. By his recommendation, I grant you leave to enter freely. I only pray you are able to find your way out. I don't need any of this gear. Grab some more gil, and then I will do this dungeon when I get back. For now, I'm gonna free teleport officially over to Lominsa. We'll do that portion of the hero in the making quest for the story. And I probably gotta talk over to this person. Shoot, do, 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 do. Jogging away, just jogging away, do, do. Talk to Zenthale outside of the little elevator that goes up to the crow's nest. Here to attend the remembrance service. Be quick. The Admiral is due to give her address at any moment. Once again, there's a
Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Everyone here has a lot of people here have green complexions for some reason. Maybe it's a Rogadin thing. Never really noticed.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride.
So their standard looks like a two-headed, well, one side of the, so it looks like a ship. It's a curved ship with 6 oars coming out of it, and it has a few yellow shields along the side, and the ship is mostly black. It has an obvious dragon head on the right side. The left side also looks like it could be a dragon head or a bird's head, maybe, but it does look like there's a mouth there. And then in the middle, just basic ship anatomy. I think there's a mast. There's no sail that you can see, but there looks like a mast, and then one of those cross beams that goes on a mast. I don't know what those are called. Crowd cheers.
700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to...
Shit, sorry.
Ah, yeah, ah, ha, ha, yeah, ha.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say.
Oh, the entire background is red, by the way, on the standard.
The crimson field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the black longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilfir's bloody executioners, and together we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage, yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
She gives a normal kind of military salute, hand firmly.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin
bastards.
have risen?
While the mines of Ogomero spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now, the Curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the Calamity has reopened twixt Pirate and Maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming Tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all!
Long live the Admiral!
Admiral Melvin! Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the seven hells, Admiral!
The crowd starts to disperse.
Fancy meeting you again.
As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Lominsa is plagued by two beast tribes. The first are the fish-like Sahagin, worshippers of the primal Leviathan. The second are the kobolds, who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal Titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence weren't troublesome enough, the Garleans have also chosen to erect a fortress right in the Lominsans' backyard. And that is to say not of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds between the various factions, and while they fight amongst themselves, the Garleans whet their blades and watch. If the Lominsans are to have any hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside, and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect that they will soon take decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my words, the Maelstrom standard will be drenched a deeper shade of crimson ere long. That a capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. They both walk away. And then you're left in another cutscene. You're receiving a message in your link pearl. Mercy, this is Menphelia. You are well, I hope. Would I be correct in thinking that the final remembrance services has now concluded? A moment ago, you say? What a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust you remember our guests from the Grand Companies? Well, delighted though we are to have them here at the Waking Sands, it would not do to keep them in suspense any longer than necessary. In short, hurry back. Yes, ma'am. Speaking of hurrying, I shall use one of the tickets. I have 8 left after this one. Plenty. back into the Waking Sands building, and then down the stairs into the Waking Sands entrance. And across these hallways, through the big doors, entrance to the Solar. Alright, Ophelia, what's up? Welcome back, Mercy. Were the Grand Company's leader's words as illuminating as you had hoped? Aye, each nation is beset with problems. I trust you see now why your services are in such demand. Would that there were more of you, Mercy. But you must be tired from your journey. Why don't you rest a while and take a moment to reflect on your decision? Once your mind is made up, pray give the Grand Company officers your answer. You get experience points just for listening to speeches. Cutscene fade to black. We are back in, I believe, Ul'dah.
The gods only know what grand company our adventurer friend will keep.
And Alphino is talking to his sister.
The wheels of change are in motion regardless.
Brother, are you certain this course is best?
Whatever do you mean, dear sister?
The so-called remembrance ceremonies were little more than standard waving rallies. As though the Calamity and Seventh Umbral Era warranted scarcely a mention.
Well, of course they were standard waving rallies.
He sips his drink.
Since you are so observant, mayhap you noticed what mention was made of the Warriors of Light? None.
So I believe they're in Ul'dah. I believe they're in like Momodi's, like the adventure hall, basically, where people just gather and there's tables and chairs and drinks and food.
I suppose they must have forgotten the heroes who spared Eorzea a fate worse than the Calamity? No, dear Alize, they haven't forgotten these details. They have elected to omit them. Deep are the wounds the Calamity inflicted upon Eorzea. So deep, in fact, that the realm still bleeds. Needless to say, the beast tribes and their primals do little to alleviate the pain. So, the task of salving Eorzea's wounds falls to the scions of the Seventh Dawn, with a little help from our friends, the Grand Companies. Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the Calamity behind us.
Our grandfather would never entrust the fate of the realm to despots who rewrite history to their convenience.
She has pounded the table when she said that, walked off, or
There
started to walk
must
off.
be another way to cure what ails this world, and I mean to find it.
You are most welcome to try. Our paths may differ, but our destination is the same. In time, I dare say we will see eye to eye.
I should hope so.
She walks off.
My lady!
We are to escort you!
The two
Hope does
Rogadin.
not come into it. We share the burden of this fate, dear sister, and will prevail together or not at all.
That first line was hope does not come into it. Sorry about that.
The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
And you find yourself back in the office with Minphilia. I think if I accept one of these now, it's going to start a new quest and I have to finish it in the place where I choose to go. I'm going to choose Gridanian because that's where I'm from, and that's just what I'd usually do with my characters. But that's the end of Hero in the Making, or whatever it's called. What's it called? Yeah, Hero in the Making. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day. I'll probably make another one after soccer, because soccer gets out like early today thanks to the sun setting so freaking early. It sucks. But yeah, see you guys later.